And finally, who had the motive to kill him? Earlier today, we sat down with his widow, Sophie Brewer, in a hard word exclusive. What did you think of the signs he was holding in those videos? The signs are lying. But were they? The hard word has obtained explosive new evidence that suggests Nick Brewer was an online predator, a serial cheater, and an abuser of women. Meet Sarah Burton. Orphaned at an early age, Sarah and her brother Simon were moved from foster home to foster home. She battled depression and crippling pain caused by an automobile accident. So when she met Nick Brewer, she thought she'd finally found someone who would look after her. She was wrong. Are you aware that one of the other women that your husband was seeing, Sarah Burton, took her own life? What you're about to hear is a reenactment of Nick Brewer's last exchange with Sarah Burton.
Why are you mad at me?
Because I didn't sign up.
Hey Sonia, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
Good, okay. It's just us for right now, so we're gonna give it a couple minutes.
Sounds like a plan. I'm so sorry I can't be there face to face.
No worries. No worries at all.
Hi.
Hey. Okay, I'll actually just leave it on. Good. Hey Sonia, so Tanisha is apparently stuck in the elevator with a bunch of kids, so I think we're gonna wait a couple minutes and see if they can get unstuck, hopefully. But if not, then we'll just get started, because I think we've already got quorum. Uh, Should come in agenda. Oh, they're at the front, and the noise reso is also at the front. Are we muted? No, we're not. Um, I I will say that I got sent this reso Tuesday morning, I think. Um, so actually, maybe Noemi can tell us what happened in TNT. I don't have my stuff together. All right, so it is 6:37 p.m. And I'm going to call this meeting to order. We may have quorum and that there's people in the building, but some folks, for those who aren't aware, are stuck in the elevator. So we have a live and developing public safety issue. And I hear sirens. I don't know if they're coming to us, but maybe. So my name is Heidi Guzman. I am now the new chair of this committee. I'm really excited to be working with everyone. And I'm just going to turn it over to my vice chair to quickly introduce herself, and then the other member of the committee. And then when more folks join, we could do some more introductions.
Thanks, Heidi. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jumerna Colbert Ramirez, Vice Chair for the Public Safety Committee. And I'm happy that Heidi is our chair. So big welcome to Heidi. Welcome into this new role, and just passing it over to any committee members who are present tonight.
Hi, everyone. I'm John Benitez. I've been part of the committee for a few months now. Looking forward to today's meeting and seeing what's the update.
Sonia, I don't know if you want to say anything.
Hi, I'm Sonia Figueroa Reillo. And yeah, I'm part of this committee and glad to be here this evening. Sorry that I'm virtual, but health reasons are the reason why.
Understood. Okay, so We're going to just start with our monthly reports. I see that we've got Jocelyn Manaya from the District Attorney's Office. So if you would like to take it away, please do and give us your report.
Technical difficulties. Oh, I can't turn on my camera. That's interesting. Oh, there you go. Oh, no, I left. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Thank you. Welcome, Madam Chair. I look forward to working with you. Good evening to everyone on the call. Like was said, my name is Jocelyn Manaya, and I am the director of the Manhattan DA's Washington Heights office and the Community Board's neighbor here at 530 West. I wanted to thank first and foremost the Community Board for your assistance with helping us spread the word on Sexual Violence Awareness Month. We had a wonderful turnout for both events, which was the forum last Tuesday, and then the next day, our Denim Day rally and resource fair in Mitchell Square Park. So, you know, everything we do is in partnership with our local city agencies and CBOs. And, you know, for me, it's all about quality instead of quantity. If we're able to reach at least one person, I think our job was done. And I experienced firsthand being able to engage and reach one person at our rally who was passing by and stopped to ask what was going on. And then she disclosed, so many things, and she was crying, and, she was embraced by all of the sister agencies on the Washington Heights and Inwood Coalition on Interpersonal and Domestic Violence. And I believe that she found not only new resources, but new avenues of engagement, community engagement, which she also shared that she wanted to start doing. So, she met Kiana from the Community Board. She met a whole bunch of people. So I was so happy about that happened. And, when things like that happen, it reinvigorates me in terms of this is why I do what I do, connecting our community with the people that do the good work on a daily basis at the grassroots level. So once again, thank you to the Community Board. Last month, I reported that, the DA and several DAs from across the country had reached out to Meta, Mark Zuckerberg to be exact, and we're happy to report that he acknowledges that they could do better and said that they would be doing better in terms of protecting their platform users from scams and vetting, trying to be on top of vetting people that are posting ads on their platform. So we're going to hold him to that and continue monitoring the situation. And, we're very happy that he was amenable to making these changes. So we're excited about that. The other and last thing that I wanted to report on is that we are going to have a gun buyback in June. As you all know, June is Gun Violence Awareness Month, Awareness and Prevention Month. So we will be hosting with our partners in NYPD a gun buyback on Saturday, June the 13th. It is going to be a little further south at Central Baptist Church on 166 West 92nd Street. And it will be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on that Saturday. I will share the flyers with the Community Board, and again, hope that you will help us with the outreach in the community. And, for those of I anticipate getting asked, well, why isn't it in Washington Heights? Well, we travel all around Manhattan, and sometimes when it's out of the community, it's better for the community. I think people feel more comfortable going elsewhere. And hopefully, that will prove to be true for our Washington Heights residents that need to turn in a gun or want to turn in a gun. So it's $500, a prepaid card for operable handguns and assault rifles. We're also looking to try and get some of these 3D printed guns off the street. I'm sure that you've all heard me speak about the dangers of 3D printed guns and ghost guns. So we're looking forward to taking those, some of those, as many of those as possible off the streets, and $75 for operable rifles and shotguns. There also will be a $25 prepaid gun for air guns, non-operable guns, and imitation pistols like the BB guns. So we're looking to get any and all type of these weapons off the street, out of our kids' hands and out of harm's way. The palm card will have questions, frequently asked questions in the back, such as, do you need ID? How do you bring a gun to the site? And what we really want the community to know is you do not need an ID at all. There are no questions asked. You can go turn in a gun. You will not be asked where you got the gun, you know, whether the gun is legal or not. None of that will be asked. And we also acknowledge that some people are uneasy about the fact that we're getting these guns, you know, and these pertinent questions are not being asked, but we would rather have people comfortable bringing these guns in and getting them out of the streets once and for all, you know, to the extent that we possibly can. So if the community has any questions, please feel free to direct them my way, send them my way, and I will try my best to try and allay some fears and concerns. And again, we'll share the palm cards with the community board ASAP. I'll also take over some printed copies as soon as they get delivered from downtown. And that's all that I have. I do have to say that I'm going to leave you early because Rosita Romero, who is retiring from the DWDC, they're having an event for her. And Rosita was my first boss ever. That's where I cut my teeth in this kind of work at DWDC. So I'm going to go and honor her today. But if anyone has any questions for me after I leave, you guys know where to find me. I'm right next door. And again, it's going to be a pleasure to work with you, Heidi, and Jumirna, as always. And thank you. I can take a question or two if anyone has anything for me right now.
Any questions?
Oh, Jocelyn, you said Central Baptist Church? I said Central Baptist Church, yes, 166 West 92nd Street.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. And just so you know, the reason why we have these in churches is because at church we have found, and NYPD can agree, is where people feel more comfortable just walking in and turning, you know, and turning in these types of weapons and requests. Church is a peaceful place, a familiar place, and you know, we love to partner with our local churches to be able to hold these types of important events. And I see my good Deputy Inspector Hernandez there. Pleasure to see you, sir. Yeah, and I will turn it back over to the committee.
Great. Thank you so much and enjoy the party.
Thank you.
Okay, so before I turn it over to our reps from the precincts, we've got more committee members here, so I would like to take an opportunity for folks to introduce themselves. Carl, if you want to start with an introduction briefly, and for everyone.
Yeah, just Carl, book committee member. Thank you.
Hi, Ty Fujimura. Sorry to be late. I've been a member of this committee for a little while now. Always enjoyed.
Hey everybody, Tanisha Grant, longtime member of the community. I was not late, I was stuck in the elevator. I'm the second vice chair of the community board and chair of youth and education.
Last but not least.
Hello, I am Noemi.
Noemi has come rest to us.
A lot just happened. I am part of traffic and transportation, and I served previously in youth and education. Whatever, full circle.
All right. Okay, so without further ado, I will turn it over to our reps from the 33rd.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Safe and sound, I guess.
Yes. Well, I'm Deputy Inspector Hernandez, Christian. Everybody could call me Christian or Chris, however you like. The commanding officer of the 3-3 precinct. Miss Heidi Guzman, welcome, and I look forward to working with you. Moving forward, we had a great year so far in the 3-3. I could say last year was a successful year. We were up in crime, but we were up in crimes when we talk about it, and I haven't spoken at any of these forums this year. When we talk about crime, it was all no major violent crimes. We had 0 homicides in the 3-3 precinct for the first time since its inception. So, and we have not had a homicide since August of 2024. So we're doing very well when it comes to homicides. Robberies, we were at a 6-year low, the lowest since 2019, and burglaries, the lowest since 2018. So we did very well last year. Our main problems are always going to be the grand larcenies, the scams, the credit card theft, people getting into people's bank accounts and stuff like that. Those are mostly, obviously, grand larceny autos. We're having a problem with grand larceny autos last year. This year, we're doing much better. Like when we look at the 28-day, 62 versus 83, we're down 21 crimes from the same period last year. And we took 15 GLAs, grand larceny autos, last year. We only taken 2. So we're doing really, really well. When we look at the year to date, we're up slightly 3 crimes, but those 3 crimes, they're mostly a lot of felony assaults involving family. But I could say that 95% of those felony assaults have arrests associated with them. So we're doing really well in that regards. And we have a new crime prevention officer who's going out there, who's teaching people, who's trying to connect with these families, trying to get them resources. Obviously, Jocelyn Minaya, her office is great with us. We do a lot of work together. So I thank her and everything that she does all the time for us. And we just look forward to having a great year this year. We put a lot more cops on the street. If you could look around, especially on the 3rd platoon, 3rd and 4th platoon, especially Sector Adam, which is the 160s, from 159 all the way to 170. We put an extra, and we have 10 cops devoted to that zone, and we also picked up 27 more cops, the brand new cops that we have to supplement that zone, and also go in Sector Charlie, which is mainly Audubon Avenue. So we're going to be attacking Audubon Avenue from 168 all the way to 179, because that's where we know that we get a lot of drugs in that section. Also, the 170 to 172 in St. Nick, we're going to have cops there. 177 to 179 in St. Nick. So, and when we talk about Amsterdam, from 168, all the way to about 176, we're going to have cops there that, covering the parks and stuff. So we're doing very well. We're doing really well. We were, for the first time ever, when you look at noise, we were not in the top 5 in noise complaints in the whole city for the first time ever. So yeah, Washington Heights might be noisy a little bit, but we're not the noisiest, and we're working hard to make sure that everybody is at peace at home and not having to deal with these noise complaints. Obviously, we have a lot of double parkers. We have a lot of issues that we're tackling. As we get more cops into the precinct, we're hoping to tackle those issues as well. That's all for me for now. I wanted to do these meetings for a long time. I have somebody else that does it, but you could reach me at any time. My number is 929-287-4662. That's 929-287-4662. If you have any issues, any complaints, obviously I want my Q team sergeant, my team, to be here in these meetings so they could address some of the issues. But if you need anything from me, please feel free to call me. And I'm gonna put in the chat, I'm gonna put my Exos number. I'm gonna put my number and my Exos number there. That way, if you need any help or anything, just reach out. And if anybody has any questions, I'll take a few questions. I do have the duty today, which the duty for Manhattan North, so I'm gonna be jumping off. But if anybody has any question, please feel free to ask right now or later.
I got a question here. So thank you so much for your report, Theo Hernandez. And I don't think that we're loud. I think it is our culture. And if people don't like it, then they shouldn't move into our neighborhood.
I am from the neighborhood,
Now, when we're
remember.
talking about after hours, that's a different thing. But to hinder people from enjoying themselves, to hinder people from their culture, which we are allowed people, that's going to be a problem. And that's just a sign of gentrification. And we're going to talk about that tonight as well. But I wanted to talk to you as someone who lives in the bottom half of Washington Heights. There is heavy police activity there, as you have said. But we're pretty cool down on that side. So I'm really confused. Also, can you tell your police officers to be a little nice? They could say hello to the people in the neighborhood. They could smile. Because as it is now, they just come around mean mugging, and we don't like that. If we're going to be in community and if we're going to ever trust the police station, then, the police officers that's outside patrolling, and I hate that word because that's a word that's a legacy of slavery of my ancestors. But if they're going to be there in a heavy presence as they are, like there'll be 2 cops on 63rd in Amsterdam, 2 cops on St. Nicholas in Amsterdam, 2 cops on 164th in Amsterdam, and so on and so on and so forth. But we know that there's some crime that is happening, as you mentioned, but it feels like they're all in our area. And are they nice? Like, are we training our police officers to be nice to the community that they serve? Because the ones down my way are not nice to my community members.
And these guys are brand new cops. And that doesn't, no. They're brand new cops.
They are all
Trust me, myself and all the supervisors, and that's the first thing we tell them, be courteous to everybody in the neighborhood. If you know me, I'm from here. I'm from 159 between Amsterdam and Broadway, so I know that side very well. So I tell them, listen, treat people with respect, treat people with empathy. So, and that's something that we got to get across to them, that they have to start going over and saying hello, going to the businesses, knowing the businesses. That's something, it's a work in progress, but we're going to get it right. I assure you we're going to get it right. Now, going back to Sector Adam, historically, Sector Adam and Sector Charlie are the worst sectors in the 3-3 precinct. Sector Adam encompasses 155 all the way to 168 from the Harlem River all the way to Broadway. So it's a big area. We do have a lot of issues in Sector Adams. That's why you see a lot of cops, and they're rookies. So we don't want to put them too far apart. We want them to work together with a sergeant and an FTO. But again, we're going to make sure that they're courteous. And if you have an issue, if somebody is discourteous to you, call me. Let me know, and I will call them in here, and I'll make sure that they're courteous next time. And if they're not, maybe they shouldn't work here. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
Noemi, you had a question, then Sonia.
Yes. Hi, I'm Noemi, and I wanted to give some recommendations of maybe posts that would be beneficial to the community, right? So, we have the 191st train station. That's always a problem. Students can attest to that always, that homelessness in that area is a problem to them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off, Sonia. I guess the 3-4, when they come on, they could talk about it because it's in the 3-4. We go all the way to the building line at 179th Street in the 3-3 precinct. So, I mean, I will be more than happy to take your recommendation, but I can't do another precinct.
We'll jump on that and answer that in a few seconds after you guys are done with the 3-3 questions.
All right. And then 168 in Amsterdam. So there's a I love my hood painting that's there. If you guys need some type of marking point, that area right there is heavily infested with drugs.
I have a post,
To the students that are right across in the middle school. And,
Right.
you know, I just want to publicly lay that out there. We are all mandated to try to deal with this. And now coming to the floor and bringing this up, like, how do we solve this? Like, as an educator, how can I tell a student, don't sell drugs in front of my building? Help me.
Absolutely, absolutely. We do have a post there, I'm happy to say. When I finish my post list, that's one of the posts that I wanted covered from, and I mentioned it from 168th Street on Amsterdam all the way to 176th Street. We're gonna have posts there, but we have a specific post that deals with that area. We know exactly where the drugs are and stuff like that. Now we have to work with our partners in narcotics to make sure that they're doing their job and we do ours. So I'm going to put the recommendation into Narco, let them know what's going on there, and we're going to have a post to make sure that they're not doing anything. If you see something, please let the post know, let us know. You could call me anonymously and say, listen, they're selling drugs right now at the corner or doing whatever, something, and then we'll send them right away.
You know,
Call you every day.
calls, I've done the 911 calls, I've done it consistently for a week and it still remains the same. So it's like, how much more work? I'm here part of public safety as a member and still.
No, it's tough. It's tough. Like I said, we have to work with Narco. We have to work with our partners at the district attorney's office. And just keep in mind that it's not as easy. Usually Narco, what they do is they set up a long-term case in order to proceed because it's easier for them to prosecute when it's a long-term case. When it's just somebody selling weed out there, which is what these guys are mainly selling, I could tell you that corner, they sell weed. If you go into Audubon, you run into pills, you run into other types of drugs. But it's very hard to prosecute. We have to do a long-term case.
Sonia?
That's really sad to hear. Coming back from my meetings, any meeting that I have at the CB12 office, I walk through 170th and 173rd and Audubon Avenue, and I tell you, it is horrific. I don't know what kind of drugs they're selling, but it is terrifying. It is terrifying to walk those streets. And it's been constant now. I'm a board member now. I think I'm completing my second year. So yeah, I've had to experience it for 2 years in a row. Yes, I can use, Broadway or St. Nicholas or whatever the case may be, but I live on 181st and Audubon Avenue. So it's the most convenient for me to use, and it's terrifying. So I would hope that somehow, some way, the precinct would, I don't know, up their presence.
No, I totally agree with you, Sonia, and you shouldn't walk on another block but that one, if that's the one that is mostly convenient to you. When we talk, that's why one of my main things, when I first got here to the 33 precinct, I got here in December of 2023. My first order of business was to put posts there. About a month after, downtown said no. Unfortunately, it's needs of the department, it's how many cops we have, and it's a lot of a lot of stuff that goes on in the background. But as soon as I got these cops back now, my first order of business is to put cops all over Audubon Avenue from 168th Street all the way to 179th Street. Now, you will see them in the afternoon. They do not work in the morning because we don't have the resources. But at least in the afternoon, when mostly everybody's out there, you're going to see cops in that area. And you can stop a cop and say, listen, these guys are doing this or that. But, and again, we have to work with narco. We have to work with the DA's office. We have to work with other, because we can make the arrests easily and they'll be back out in an hour or two. You know, and a lot of times it doesn't solve the problem. They're very sophisticated also. If they don't know you, they won't sell to you. Usually, what you know, it's very hard to deal with, but at the same time, the quality of life issues on the streets, we're gonna tackle. We're gonna tackle those. We're gonna tackle the people in the corners, the people setting camps, the people throwing barbecues, and I don't mean the regular people from the neighborhood, because we know the good people. I mean, we know who the perpetrators are, who the ones that are selling drugs. Those are the people that we're going to target. So, and when they're out there doing something, they'll set up a barbecue. They'll put their drugs under the barbecue, pretend that they're doing something. Those are the people we're gonna go after.
Well, Christian, I think the bigger impact would be having officers there in the evening.
Yeah, so the tour is gonna be, they're gonna be out there from 1500, which is 3 p.m. all the way to 11:35. So that's their tour. That's their tour. When I say afternoon, that's what I mean, because it's divided between 3 different tours. So they're gonna be out there.
Okay, and then my last comment is I so agree with Tanisha. You know, police officers as well as the fire department, they need to be way more courteous to the people they serve. You know, I walk my dog every morning. I say good morning to the fire department and police officers, and it's like a strange thing for them. They don't respond.
They look at you crazy. Even when you speak to them, it's like
it shouldn't be like that. I talk to everybody. I walk my neighborhood. My mom still lives here, so a lot of people know me. And if you see me, I will say hello to you. You know, for most people, I give them a hug, and I'll just stop and we'll talk. We'll have a conversation. That's something that we got to get through to some of these officers, and it's something that the department as a whole has to deal with. Remember, there's a lot of people coming from Long Island, coming from other places that this is not their neighborhood. And to them, it's a little culture shock at times, but we got to get beyond that. We got to get beyond that. And it's my job, my XO, my supervisor's job to make sure that they do.
They need to know that they are civic servants, right?
Absolutely. Courtesy goes a long way. And like I said, about a month and a half, I got promoted to deputy inspector, and I thank the community, because without the community, you can't get promoted, because the community is an integral part of a precinct. And I love my community. Not just because I'm here, not because I'm a part of the community, but in general, I just love my community. So, and I hope that all my cops and everybody feels the same sentiment that I do.
All right, Ty, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, just wanted to ask about the relationship between you and narcotics and how you work together. And, you know, we don't get exposure to them or like a way to connect with them. So is that something that we can do through you to better advocate for changes that we want to see? Or, you know, how does that work? And because it sounds like you're saying that that's kind of like a bottleneck to you all addressing these problems, is that you're not getting enough support. So let me know if I'm hearing you right and what we can do.
It is, we get the support, but remember, narcotics is a different bureau. Aside from patrol, we're part of patrol services. They're part of detective bureau. Usually what narcotics does is that they do long-term cases here. So we don't want to interfere with their cases. If they're looking at somebody specifically or an area specifically, we don't want to be there interfering with their case, because the best way to prosecute these cases, these narcotics cases, now in 2026, is by creating these long-term cases and putting forth something good in front of the DA's office where they could prosecute them. So we have a great relationship with narcotics. It's just that we're 2 separate bureaus. We got to work together. They're short-staffed just like we are, so we gotta do best with what we have. So But if you have any issues, we will definitely pass it along to them.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense, but basically whatever they're doing is not creating the effect that we need to see. So what we're
No, it's
asking
not.
for is
And that's the
like,
thing, that it's never gonna create the effect right away. Because remember, these are long-term cases. Like just now in the Bronx, they did a long-term cases on car theft and accessories. I don't know if you saw the news. A lot of those car theft and accessories, we were involved, the 3-3 precinct, we lost about 50 cars. And we lost about, and that's cars and accessories. But in order nowadays in 2026, in order for us, for the courts, for the DA's office to put people away, we need to build a strong case. And a lot of times, a long-term case might take a year. It might not be what you want to hear, but it's best for the community. At the end of the day, it's best
Yeah.
because you're going to keep them in.
that's, we understand that, but it's been many, many years that the situation has been essentially the same. So what we're saying is that whatever narcotics process is, if that takes a year, that's fine. But we need that to be moving more consistently than it is. And that's not on you. But that's why I'm asking you, how can we communicate best to them? And is that something that, you know, we need to work on with you? Or is there some way that we can interface directly with them? Can you connect us, etc.?
I mean, you work with us and we'll connect you. We'll connect with them. I mean, we could always set up a meeting if you like. I could call our partners in narcotics and they could come and talk about their cases. They could come and talk about, obviously they're not going to disclose what's going on
Yeah, of course.
fully, but they could talk a little bit about it. But yeah, we're dealing with a lot of drugs, but again, this used to be drug infested in the past, and it should be very violent. And when you look at violence in the 3-3, we could say that violence in the 3-3 is not what we're dealing with now. We're dealing more with quality of life issues in the 3-3. So we come a long way. So it's not and I believe they did a takedown a few years ago, and that alleviated a lot of the violence and a lot of the issues. But we still have these bottom feeders that come over and are setting shop here, and we got to deal with those now. So, but we could set up a meeting. We could. I put my number on the chat. I'm gonna put my XO's number on the chat, and then maybe we could set up a meeting with narcotics or some type of representative, and they could talk about the issues. We could go to you, or you could come to the precinct, and we could do it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, if we could take a next step there, I think that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sorry, we've got 2 more questions. Joanna?
Hold on, real quick. If we address the root cause of the issue, and that is how these drugs are getting into our communities, instead of the symptom of once they come in and people selling them, I think that was something we should look at too, because for decades, we just dealing with the simple symptoms, right? The drug dealers in our community, they're getting it from, they didn't make it. It's coming from somewhere and it's allowed to be put into our neighborhoods, the same way guns are. So when are, law enforcement gonna do it, is, the elected officials, the government gonna deal with the root cause of the issue, and that's how do they even get into our communities? That was for you, Tom. Go ahead.
I totally agree.
Okay, Jamirna and then Carl.
My one question is regarding youth officers and youth initiatives. Last month we were gonna have someone come in for that, but I know there may be some time restrictions. I just want to follow up on that.
Yeah.
As our deputy inspector, do you think we can have one of the officers that specifically focuses on youth initiatives to be present, whether it's next month or when we return back from our summer session? That'll be very helpful.
I will make sure that next month's meeting, there will be somebody here in the meeting, one of the youth officers or both. So, and if you need them before that or whenever you need, just give me a call, and I'll make sure that they attend any meeting that you would like.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Carl?
Deputy.
Yeah, so you mentioned the category that is rising and those that were falling. I think I remember you said something about grand theft auto. Do you know why it is rising. Is there something you can do to
Money.
apart from money? I mean, don't you have enough officers? I mean, exactly what do you think is the reason why that category of crime
I
is
mean,
rising?
when we talk about grand theft autos, one of the reasons it's rising is because we have teams of people, very sophisticated. What they're doing is they taking the cars, usually at night when our personnel's not, we don't have that much personnel, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They're going to desolated areas like the Speedway on the Harlem River Drive or Riverside Drive where there's not that much traffic. They take in those cars, and what they do is they'll bring them to a garage somewhere in the Bronx, usually the Bronx, sometimes here in Manhattan, and they take the plates, they take all the stuff off, they'll cut off the bin, and then they'll resell it in Facebook Market or send it to another country like the Dominican Republic, countries in Africa. We get a lot of those. Now, what we try to do is we try to educate the public on not parking in specific areas. And we're trying to do some initiatives to put maybe the clubs back in the cars where we used to use back when I was a kid. We used to put a club, and it used to be harder for people to steal the cars. But the problem is financial. We need help because the police department doesn't have the money to do those. Now, if I'm a car owner, I will put the air tags, not even the air tags. I will get like a generic one because the air tag, if you're in a car and you have an iPhone, it will tell you that there's an air tag in the car. So these thieves are sophisticated. They'll look for it, they'll take it out, and then they'll throw it away, and that's the end. But if you get one of these generic ones, which are cheaper, put it in your car, and we're able to track the cars. With the plates, we're able to track them, but they take the plates off. And sometimes what they do, they take the plate off of a Honda Accord, find the same exact car, same color, same make, same everything, and put that plate on there and commit a crime. And then we're going back and we're going, hey, you just committed a crime with this, when we know that person didn't do it. It was somebody else that they put. So it's very sophisticated, very tough. They just did a sting in the Bronx, which included us, and they took a lot of cars. A lot of people were arrested for it. And we're hoping that the DA's office in Manhattan, the Bronx, they take it more seriously because we're losing a lot of cars, but we need to do better.
All right, thank you so much, Deputy Inspector. And hopefully we'll see more of you more frequently at these meetings.
Thank you. And everybody take care. I put my number down. I put the XO's number down in the chat. If you ever need me, I'm available 24/7, but if you call me at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, my wife might get a little mad, but I'm not going to get mad at you. So.
Thank you.
Everybody take care, and we hope to see you. I hope to see you soon, maybe at the next meeting, if I'm able, or any future meetings. But the youth officers will be at the meeting next time.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, turning it over to the 34th.
Before I get started, I actually want to congratulate Inspector Hernandez. He actually just got promoted not too long ago, for those of you guys that don't know. And for good reasons, because as you can see, he's a very good supervisor.
Thank you.
Even though I don't work for him directly, I know that he's a very good supervisor. So congratulations, boss. So I'll get started. For 2026, the 28-day period, we are currently up in robberies from 20 from last year to 29 this year. Though I'll just get into why we're up. We're up in robberies from last year to this year because of we've had a pattern that's been a citywide pattern where we've had individuals on mopeds going around trying to rob individuals with it's been a 2-man moped job where they've come out with firearms and robbed usually jewelry is what they're going for. That it's been an uptick throughout the whole city regarding that. The good news is that in the last week we've actually arrested two separate suspects. So we've at one point we arrested 2, and then a few days ago we arrested 3. And actually, it was right after the day on the day of one of their robberies. We arrested them that same night also, which was pretty good success for us, and for you guys and for the community. So that's the uptick in robberies from last year. We're up in felony assaults from 32 last year to a high 54, which is it's a high amount. This uptick in felony assaults is mostly at night for our around our clubs and around our nightlife, and that's part of it. And honestly, the other part of it is we've when officers are trying to make an arrest and somebody fights back, and let's say they try to strike at one of our officers, that's also automatically a felony assault, and that's actually something that's happened pretty often in maybe the last 2 weeks. The next category that I want to get to is burglaries. We're actually up in burglaries also, from 7 last year to 12 this year. That is similar to our previous months. It's usually not usually. The reason for our uptick is commercial vehicles being broken into. When a commercial vehicle is broken into, those are automatically considered a burglary, and usually those vehicles are broken into because of what they carry. Most of those vehicles are commercial because they're carrying tools, heavy equipment that costs a lot of money, and criminals break into those vehicles for that purpose, to try to steal whatever expensive equipment they can find. And if they break into the vehicle and steal a penny, that's a burglary, just because they broke in and took one item worth anything. It doesn't matter what it's worth. So that's why we're up in that. And also, honestly, we're up in burglaries because of our we have so many businesses. Most of our businesses give out trespass notices. So if an individual comes and tries to enter the establishment and remove an item, we're arresting them for burglary for that. The good thing is that we're taking these reports for burglaries, but we're also making arrests for these burglaries also. We're actually down in grand larcenies from last year having 53 to this year having 44, and we're also down in our grand larceny autos, which went from 21 to 11. Even though we're down, I still want to reinforce that, be extra cautious with your vehicles, and in the sense of like the inspector said, putting a club on your vehicle, putting tire locks on your vehicle. If you need a club, like I've mentioned before, we actually have a few clubs here at the 34th precinct that we're willing to give you. We're definitely gonna give priority to Hondas and Toyotas, because those are the main vehicles that actually get stolen. And like I've explained before, the main reason that those get stolen is because I was gonna say a hot commodity, but it's the most common vehicle that I drive a Pilot, you drive a Honda Accord, and most of those vehicles interchange parts, and that's why it's so easy to steal a vehicle part from this one and try to sell it for the next kind of model. And as of now, that's all I have. Number one.
So obviously you heard Nomi's question earlier about the 191st train station and conditions around that. I know obviously the transit district also, I guess, has jurisdiction. Can you just comment on that? Or if you want her to repeat the question.
What was it? I heard 191st. Is it 191st that we're going to talk about, or 181st, or both? It could be both.
Well, they're both. I feel like they're both. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a recommendation for, I know the other, captain was talking about, the posts that they have.
Mhm.
And I had mentioned that the 168 in Amsterdam should be opposed, and then the train station at 191st should be opposed, just because we all know that, homelessness is pretty high there, and we consistently have students that are coming or going, and their number one complaint is that they either get harassed by the people that are there, or the people that are there are trying to approach them in an unsafe way. So that's my recommendation for a post.
Okay, so regarding the train station, we actually do have post that because I've done it before myself, where it's an overtime post that they're paying us overtime just to come to these train stations, just to be at the platform and in the booth area where not the conductor, but where
The station is on there.
Yeah. where you pay. So we don't have homelessness and anybody entering to bother any of the patrons that are trying to travel. But regarding like well, I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Regarding 191st Street, we also put our youth officers towards GW High School or towards 191st Street train station. The only problem with having those guys come down is that we're not transit. I could speak to transit to like explain, hey, this is what's going on. We're having these issues. Can you help us out? Because that's technically their territory. Our territory is the very outside of it, and that's why we tend to have our youth officers stay outside of the school, stay in that area, because we also mainly because we don't want the kids have any friction with one another. But if we have any homelessness that are bothering them or any residents of the area, definitely handle that also.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, so something that came up in the last general meeting was some folks made some comments about actually around the area of GW High School, that there's apparently drag racing and donuts happening in that area, specifically not only the area Audubon area behind the high school and Sherman Ave, but also Dykeman between Riverside Drive, westbound, and Payson Ave. So we wanted to bring to your attention that people are complaining about this condition. I don't know if you've received community complaints or if it is technically a condition or a pattern, but
we have, and
okay.
So we've gotten the complaints, and the way that we're trying to counter it, well, not trying, we are countering it, is mainly on the weekends, because resource-wise, we're already actually asking for extra resources to come from other precincts to come and help us to close off our school, like the La Marina, that back area, close off the back of the school, even close off the park itself. Like there's an entrance to Fort Tryon Park where you could drive into. We're putting vehicles to stop any vehicles from entering that entrance of the park, starting 10 p.m. at night. Like I said, mainly we're only having that on the weekends because it's usually the busier nights, and I guess we really can't afford to have every single night get some extra resources, but at least we're thankful that we're actually getting those nights, and it's helping the community out for the sake of noise, safety also, because that it doesn't just create a noise, it doesn't just bother with noise, it also can create some dangerous situations with these donuts and that kind of stuff.
Are there any other questions?
Question.
Hi.
You had a traffic fatality. Oh, sorry, that's you, that's the 34th. Yeah, there was a traffic fatality this week, apparently.
Yes, so that's being considered a traffic fatality, the one on 181st Street. But what happened was an individual actually was on her bicycle, and she fell off because she had a medical condition where she actually passed away from her medical condition. But it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. She wasn't struck by anybody.
Okay, that's really sad.
It is. It doesn't help the situation, but that's
yeah, of course. Yeah, I wanted to follow up also on the one from, I believe it was February or March.
Gotcha.
There was a fatality at it was like 189 in Broadway, something around there by the park. Did you has that been fully kind of pursued on the police side? Is that with the DA at this point, or what's the status of that?
The one on 189 in Broadway? I'm not.
Yeah, if I recall, I think it was around there. I forget exactly.
The one that you might be talking about is 212 in Broadway.
212. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
My partner, she's here with me. She has some information on it.
Oh, okay.
Everyone, Officer Peralta here. Hi Tyler. I remember last time we spoke about this fatality.
Yeah, I asked you about it before, yeah.
Right. So I kind of gave you much of the information that you needed to know. I know there wasn't much about the fatality online. I wasn't on scene, but I heard a lot of it, and I asked my captains that were on scene, and basically they said that the man was I'm sorry, the guy on the scooter, 122993. The guy on the scooter was like he was going let's say southbound on Broadway.
Yeah.
Going straight. And there was a guy, the guy that was in the car, he was coming out of like a parking spot to then it was a red light. So the guy was gonna come out to go make a left on 212 from Broadway, because you can go like make a left. So he was at the red light, stopped at the red light. So as he was coming out to stop at the red light, the scooter kept going. The scooter kept going like fast. We don't know the condition of the guy that was on the scooter, and he basically like he just kept going, like disregarding the red light, and just hit the car that was gonna make that left turn. So
I see.
unknown, like, you know, what was his issue, if he was like, you know, high, drunk, I don't know, maybe sick or just eating and couldn't stop the scooter. But there was no arrest made. Report was taken. Like I said, he fell off the bike, so he had an injury. He didn't die, so that's a good thing.
Well, there's a.
Sorry. I'm thinking about something else. He passed away because of the injury.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah. So.
I'm thinking about something else. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. Well,
We
but
have so many fatalities here. I had one that so off topic, but I had one that literally almost broke his leg, and he survived.
Okay.
So yeah, due to his injuries, falling off the bike, it wasn't good.
Okay. Basically, it was deemed as the driver was not at fault. Essentially,
No, the driver was not at fault, because if that was the case, we could have summoned him, arrested him, and stuff like that. But he wasn't at fault at all.
Okay, good to know the information. Thank you.
Yes.
Sonia?
Yeah, I just have a real quick question for 33 and 34. And that's, we get a lot of data in regards to the incidences in Inwood and the Heights. Is it possible to also get a balanced strategy list to deal with those incidences? Is that question clear?
I don't know why. I'm barely hearing. I mean, it could be because my phone.
Oh. Okay. Well, looks like they just dropped off, actually.
No,
Maybe.
I'm sorry. Sorry,
Okay.
I think it was that my phone was dying. That's why I could barely hear. So I'm using my partner.
My
What
question was, we get a lot of data in regards to the incidences that occur in the Heights and in Inwood. Is it possible to also get a counterbalance strategy list as to how these incidences are being addressed or will be addressed to prevent them?
To prevent them? Yeah, I mean, that's something that we can do here. Yeah. Usually what we do is when we have our monthly meetings, which I'll say it now since you're asking, our monthly meeting is actually tomorrow night here at the precinct. That's usually what we do. We give not detail. We try not to get too much into detail, because we try to kind of develop a plan of what we're gonna do regarding whatever you're telling me is the issue. That's how we go about it. So maybe what you can do is you let us know, hey, this is the issue that I have. How are we gonna adjust this? How are we gonna fix this? And I for the next meeting, I'll let you know this is what we're gonna do. This is what we've been doing because of the issue that you're having. Or if not, we just think like the captain gave you his information. You let us know what the issue is today, because I can't tell you necessarily, like, thankfully you have the 33rd precinct commanding officer. What I technically do is I get the information that you guys are providing to me, and I bring it up to our inspector, and I let him know, hey, these are the complaints that we're getting. What are we going to do about it? These are the things that they want to see. These are the changes that they would like. So that's when we develop a plan together, and it's not just him. It's also our quality of life sergeant, our special operations lieutenant, because we have different teams, different supervisors working at different hours. So if you let me know today what issues you're having, I could let you know by next week, hey, this is what we plan to do, and this is what you can expect to be seen. just like how it's being expressed how there's issues at the end of La Marina, there's issues at behind the school. So now what we're doing is we're closing off the school because we know, we're not closing off the school, we're closing off the street that leads to the end of the school.
Sonia, I'm gonna be at that meeting tomorrow, by the way. I'm planning to be at that.
And Heidi, I would love to be at that meeting, but I have housing and health tomorrow. So it's like, yeah, I have not been able to attend any of those monthly Thursday meetings. So I would love just to see a strategic plan in place.
Regarding what exactly?
Regarding the ongoing incidences in our area. You know, the drug dealers, the muggings, the burglaries. Yeah, just something in printed version.
I mean, I can do that, but sometimes I can't because we can give you what we're trying to do, but the actual plan, it's not something that we kind of give out to the public. Also for you know to keep it confidential, keep it closed in, where we execute our plan quietly, which is what usually creates a successful plan for us.
And I totally agree with you, Officer Christian. However, it would be, you know, it would be kind of nice as a committee to have a strategic plan from the two precincts that cover our area.
No, and I understand you. I understand you just kind of wanted, in a sense, open communication, and I completely understand that. And I do want to have these meetings and ease the minds and the people of our neighborhood. That's absolutely our plan. I just don't want I don't want to kind of I don't want to promise you something that I can't without having a conversation with my superiors, because I bring the problems to our supervisors, and I also do recommend what we should be doing, because I am in our community nonstop. I'm usually walking our blocks. I don't patrol our blocks, but I am usually driving through and seeing some of these problems that you guys advise me of. So when you advise me of an issue that we're having, I bring it up to my supervisor. They usually ask me like, "Hey, what do you think? What should we do?" So that is where we develop a plan. So I don't want to give you say that I can give you that right now tonight. I can.
Officer, we've got just a couple more questions, and then we do need to move on as a committee. I apologize.
No worries. I get it. Totally get it.
All right. Thanks for being here, Officer Tavares. Same thing for you in regards to a youth officer. Would it be possible to have a youth officer, specifically the 34th, present here with us sometime, whether next month or when we return back from summer session?
Our youth officers, I'm not sure if they're on the meeting, but we sent them a link. If they're not on the meeting, we can have them on, because we do know that you requested them for this meeting. So if there's any questions for them, we do have them. I believe they're
yeah, it's not necessarily a question or like anything of that matter. It's more like present to us, show us what exactly are your monthly initiatives for the youth. What are these collaborations looking like on a monthly basis? That's pretty much what I'm asking in regards to like youth officers.
Okay.
And the other thing is 207 and 10th Avenue mopeds, and people riding directly on the street. I think this has become a very prevalent issue, especially, you know, for community members like myself coming from the Bronx daily on the BX12. Once we get to what is our neighborhood, this is something that I've seen it a lot, specifically on 10th Avenue, mopeds directly on the streets, where pedestrians are supposed to, you know, walk. I completely understand you cannot chase these folks. I get that. But what are other strategies to prevent these people from driving mopeds directly on the street? It's just becoming so dangerous. Today I saw one, and I'm not gonna consider it a weapon, but he had like a big stick, right? Looked like a broomstick with him. And it was just it was a little intimidating, you know? So I'm just wondering what is going on to prevent these folks from driving directly on the sidewalk where it's supposed to be for pedestrians?
Well, what I recommend is, if you do see that, let us know. And by letting us know, I mean call 911. when you call 911, if you're able to at least describe them, maybe, preferably, honestly, I'd say the license plate, because if they have one, because I know that sometimes they do not, sometimes that's not even the case. If you're able to describe them, the best portion of it would be the license plate. Let us know, hey, this license plate is driving on the sidewalk. Can we do something about that? And we will, because that's obviously illegal, and that's obviously not something that we want when, pedestrians could be can be hurt. So that's what I would recommend. Call 911, let us know. But when are you seeing these? When is this happening? Is this like all hours of the day or
Like the most traffic, like not the most, because I'm not sure what that number is, but like today, for instance, I'm getting off the bus around 5:38-ish, and they're right on 10th Avenue.
I was very specific.
Yeah, rush hour.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the rush hour time. Gotcha. Okay. So what I can possibly do, because we do have our traffic units working at that hour also. We could also have them be posted in like these busy intersections. Is 207th Street and 10th Avenue like the only one?
From my experience.
From your experience. Okay. All right. Yeah, because I know that's an intersection that's heavily populated. So
Yeah.
So that I know that sometimes is what would cause that, but not justifying it, because that's not okay. That's we could summons them, and we could honestly arrest them for that. So that's why if you or any of our residents see that, like, I would recommend, I would want you to recommend to have them call 911 so we can get that. And what we'll do is we won't want to chase them like you said. But when they do pull over, when they do stop, that's when we take the opportunity to stop them, summons them, and even take their mopeds, just because we know that they did that. Because we have reports, we have video, and we do follow up with an investigation for it. Excuse me.
Okay, so I see that another officer has joined. I don't know if that's one of the youth officers. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
I'm Officer Polanco. I'm one of the youth officers in the precinct. My partner's also on the call. We just have Officer Tavares' name for some reason.
That's why I'm looking for the name. I'm like, who's the other officer?
Yeah.
What's your partner's name?
Marquez, Officer Marquez.
Okay. Yeah, we would really appreciate if you could come also. Hello.
Yes,
come
I'm Officer
next
Marquez with
month.
the 3-4 precinct as well. Youth officer.
Thank you. If you could come next month and just give us a bit of a report of some of the things that you're noticing, and kind of just explain a little bit more about the work that you do. I think there's a lot of interest in the community to just understand more about what your work is, and how also we as a board can best liaise with you.
I mean, can I say something now or?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know in the 3-4 we have around 53 to 54 schools. A lot of buildings have around 3 to 4 schools each around there. We do try our best to go to G Dubs every single day, 549 Audubon, because that is our number one problem school. I'll say problematic school, quote unquote, according to the statistics. There is only 2 of us, which makes it a little hard for us to go and address some of the situations that have been going on, especially in the train stations that you guys mentioned. So in regards to that, we have told our supervisor, and the Q team has been going there. They've been going inside the Popeyes and McDonald's to make sure that the kids are going home and aren't getting into any trouble. They also have been addressing a lot of problems that you guys have mentioned. Like, for example, I know you guys mentioned like the mopeds and stuff like that. Q teams have been very good at giving out summonses and arresting certain individuals that have been committing this a lot, and that have also affected our youth. I know you guys also mentioned the selling the drugs and stuff like that. We have had issues in schools with like the vapes. So what we try to do is we talk to the principals and stuff like that. We give out flyers. We also have YRT, which is the youth response team. They go to the schools and have like presentations to just essentially tell the kids like what's wrong and what's right, not to do stuff like that. we also have the Explorers program that we have on Wednesdays. It's basically, I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's essentially just to help the kids stay out of trouble. We take them on competitions, we take them out, we teach them drills. It's basically just a discipline program. We have a lot of kids that have been arrested, and we're kind of just guiding them to, I guess, be better, I'll say. But yeah, we usually go to schools, we visit them, we address problems that they have. We have our weekly principals meetings on Fridays. Maybe you guys would like to join one of them to see what we talk about. Our commanding officer also joins those meetings, and essentially like an open floor. So all the teachers, the principals, the deans, and whoever has an issue going on that we're not aware of, for them to address it to us so we could find the best solution. And sometimes if we can't find a solution, we always go to our supervisor, or we go to the community affairs, or whoever. We try to find the proper steps. We refer kids that are maybe going the wrong path. Maybe we aren't the best people to help, but we do have a lot of referrals for other programs and people that do help us. It's just a little summary. If you have any more questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
Do y'all utilize restorative justice practices?
We use what we're allowed to. How do I say it? I say we try, but like things have changed, so we're certain things that we're allowed to do and not allowed to do. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Like we try our best, I should say. Yeah.
So just so you're aware, in the chat, Sonia asked, basically it would be great to sit in on that meeting if we could just get more information about that. I don't know if maybe Officer Taveras can loop us in, just so we can get some info on the principals meeting. I think people would be really interested in sitting in on that and just learning more. So however we can connect about that, that would be awesome.
Yes, I'll send Officer Tavares the Zoom link and everything. And so like that you guys could join, and our commanding officer and our other supervisors usually join too, and you could ask them as many questions as you would like.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to move on to the next item of our agenda, but thank you to both the precincts for your lengthy presentation as always. Okay, so we don't have anyone from FDNY present, but I did just want to take a moment to acknowledge the fire that happened earlier this week and the lives that were lost during the fire. It's a shame that FDNY isn't here. I think more than ever, people would like to hear from the department, especially, I know there's a lot of anxiety in the community about understanding the cause of the fire, which is, my understanding is that the investigation is still ongoing. I did get a quick update. Sonia, I see your hand. One sec. Unless it's about PD. Okay, all right. I did just want to provide a quick update that Kiana sent to me, and a couple others. So as we know, emergency units responded, basically around midnight. The fire was brought under control at around 3 a.m. As of May 5th, 13 individuals were affected, 2 people with minor injuries, 2 people with moderate non-life-threatening injuries, 1 person with moderate injuries, 5 people with serious life-threatening injuries, and 3 fatalities. But the fatality count might increase as they continue to basically look through the rubble from the building. The fire has displaced 39 families, and the Red Cross has registered residents for assistance, and the investigation by the fire marshal is ongoing. And it looks like there's also a criminal investigation that may be underway. In terms of an immediate response, there's a need for essential supplies, and drop-off locations are at the Borough President's office at 125th, here at the board office, Trinity Church, and there's a couple other locations, but I think for most people, the board office is probably the easiest location. And the Manhattan Borough President's office has indicated that up to $10,000 in purchases may be reimbursed through community grants. So if you know anyone who is affected and would benefit from seeking reimbursement for certain expenses, please let us know, and Kiana can probably connect people with the folks at the Manhattan Borough President's office. Also, some of the electeds have obviously been involved. I know that T-Mobile is apparently helping people restore phones, maybe lost their phone during the fire. And yeah, we'll, I guess, keep you updated on any developments. I don't know if there's any questions. Sonia?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that this is my 19th meeting with this committee. And in those 19 meetings, excuse me, the fire department has only been present at one. And I think that is horrendous. They need to be more engaged with the community, and they need to be reporting on what's happening in our community. They should not be functioning as silos, which is what it seems what they're doing. You know, like I shared with the 33 and 34. I have a fire department right across the street, and I walk by them every day and say good morning, and they just totally ignore my greetings. And I think that needs to change. Not with me, but just being present at this meeting and sharing with us what's happening in our community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I also did some work to try to find like the historical stats in the same way that you can for the police, and I was unable to. So I know we got some stats last time, but we need that information. So I don't know, do we as a board formally request that they show up?
From my understanding, Sandra Sanchez, Director of FDNY Community Affairs, she oversees other districts. That's what I understood from the past. So I think this is more like a hierarchy structure when it comes to the services that FDNY provides, and I guess employees of the FDNY. There has to be someone else aside from Sandra Sanchez that can show up for us.
Right.
Maybe at the local firehouses, if there's someone, because based on what I saw, it seems like FDNY the following day after the fire, they were right on Broadway speaking to the community about fire alarms and smoke detectors and whatnot. So they have folks who go into the community to educate us and inform us. However, maybe there may be a disconnect within our office and like other community support, services aside from the community affairs person. There has to be, maybe Sandra can connect us directly to the local firehouses, and then they have their leaders, make this a routine, or maybe the FDNY, our local firehouses, may just not be familiar with us like that. So
Right.
there has
Yes.
to be like
Sonia?
a better bridge there.
One of the things that I brought up in last month's meeting was the mere fact that, excuse me, the firemen at this station are covering their license plates so that they are not issued tickets, because 181st Street has been converted into a bus lane, kind of only bus lane and bike lane. So it's kind of bizarre to see them covering their license plates so that they don't get tickets. So they're breaking the law, right? And yet the residents here in the community can't do the same, or should not do the same. And I brought that up to Sandra last month, and it still has not been addressed. They're still parking on sidewalks and double and triple parking and covering their license plates on 181st Street.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a disconnect in terms of emails going out to folks at FDNY. And I'm pretty sure that FDNY goes to the district service cabinet. So I think sometime after this meeting, I will reach out to Kian and say, maybe there's something to bring up at district service cabinet. We'd like FDNY to have greater presence. Who should we get in touch? Because I think you're probably right that it's someone that's maybe below Sandra, whose job it is, or to do CB meetings, what have you. So there might be a bit of both in terms of our office maybe not being as consistent with outreach, and also issues on their end. So
there's some stuff maybe we could do to
basically encourage or
make sure that we're doing
facilitate
everything. But
Yeah.
if it comes to it, we need It's kind of like a weird reso, but a reso.
Yeah,
Please
it all
come.
subpoena power.
Subpoena.
So,
Something.
okay, all right. So the next item on the agenda, is this resolution about noise in public plazas. And before we start, I should disclose that I work at the New York City Department of Transportation. So I have a conflict of interest, so I can't vote on this resolution and I can't work on it, but I will just provide some context for why this reso is on our agenda right now. So last year, I believe there was a hearing sponsored by Traffic and Transportation and Health and Environment about public plazas and noise. And a resolution came out of Health and Environment after that hearing. The resolution did not pass before the full board at the time. And so there have been recently efforts to basically bring back the reso, update it to basically achieve broader consensus on the issue. And it was, I don't know if Noemi, you can provide, it was apparently discussed at Traffic and Transportation and Steve made some edits and then I was told that our committee should take it up. So now we're here. And I sent you all the reso, there's copies at the front table. Yeah, I don't know if anyone has any comments or questions about the reso. Noemi, I don't know if you want to add anything about what the discussion was, if any.
I feel like the committee was kind of split, even though
Okay.
it passed by one vote, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my comments.
Got it.
I kind of remember it being the same during general board as well when it came forward to general board.
We did add some recommendations, but I don't think that they were received. As far as like recommending till 9 instead of 8. As part of the reso,
Mhm. Okay.
oh, we talking about the resolution?
Yeah, I just sort of gave a primer of why it's at the committee now.
Why? I'm sorry.
I got an email saying that we should take it up.
From who?
Steve.
want-
But I have a conflict of interest because I work at DOT.
I want
Great,
to,
because I-
add to this
it's
reso,
hard.
one thing about this reso too, that I didn't bring it up during general board, I think it's also, I feel like there's some sort of bias in this reso when it comes to the local businesses, and that's the part that I'm not understanding. For me, the plaza, aside from noise in the plaza, it feels like if it's a for-profit space. When it comes to specifically the line that says public plazas are being treated by some as a facto concert venue with events that often go beyond their permitted use and timeframes. So disregarding the permitted time and timeframes, I'm talking about the concert venues. So these businesses, in order for you to enjoy what would be a concert or live performance, for you to get a good view, you have to consume and purchase a certain amount of food, drinks, whatever it is. That's where my conflict is. Because we can have concerts, we can have these kind of events, follow specific rules. But why is it that I have to now buy $150 worth of drinks or food to be able to enjoy this live performance? That's my personal perspective. So I think when it comes to the plazas, one of my observations is, aside from the intentions, because this is focusing on noise, is how are these businesses allowed to say, okay, if you consume from my place, you get to get a better view. Because if anything, the businesses shouldn't be in the way, because that enables folks to add to the noise, right? Since the issue is noise. So that's the part that's confusing to me. I'm not too sure exactly how it's decided that one business gets this area, one business gets the other area. Now to enjoy this quote unquote concert, I have to make a purchase while regular community members are on the side not being able to get like a view. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
So you're referring to like the organized events where there's the tickets and so on, that where someone's organizing a concert that's in the plaza and they procure a permit for that. Am I understanding?
I never been to one where like a ticket is required because they're just open to the public. Right. But the setup is one business gets one section, one business get another section directly in front of the stage.
Right.
So if I want to see whoever's performing and I want to get a good view, I have to buy specifically alcoholic beverages from a specific business in order to sit down and enjoy the concert, right? That's like the business concept of this open space.
Right, because if I recall, basically a lot of these events are organized by a group of the businesses, right? So it's like, it's particularly in the Dykeman area that.
Yeah,
that plaza,
Iskaya Plaza.
Iskaya, there's a coalition of those businesses that's organizing and conducting these concerts, and they're doing it for the benefit of the businesses.
Right.
But they're allowed to use public space to do it, and that's part of what's causing these issues.
Right.
Right, okay.
And I think that's one of the things that it hasn't really been addressed to me personally. And when it was first brought up, I had to sustain because the issue of noise is so much bigger than it being listed. Well, everything that's included here, I understand the reason. But the noise overall is a lot bigger than what I see listed. And I think the concept of the businesses aligns with the noise complaint. But like I said, it just feels like for profit. And it's supposed to be public. And I understand the organizers need to have a specific income or they on a financial goal. But I feel like it's a public space and the public should be prioritized before businesses, you know.
I know that's right.
For-profit space.
We have free block parties. Everything is free.
Yeah.
But I have things to say about this resolution. First of all, I'm very confused why we're looking at this. This is something that traffic and transportation and health and environment decided to put forth. We at public safety did not. We have a saying that gentrification is silence. And I'm gonna tell you why. We're loud people. You don't like noise, don't move in our community. This whereas residents testify back to back. First of all, I hear a couple of people complaining about Audubon Plaza, and I'm very confused because I live right here and I don't see nobody doing anything that even makes any noise. But this is specifically, I think, about the plaza yeah. But so there's a lot of things in here that just rub me the wrong way. So trying to prevent people from having back-to-back events on a weekend is just an absolute no for me.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't have enough resources in our community as it is. If people had things to do, we wouldn't have these plazas. Now would we? We wouldn't. Okay. I agree with after a certain time, the noise should go down. I'm a whole grandmother. I'm asleep by 9:30. But whereas for the 4 hours that noise permit shouldn't be more than 4 hours, it's an absolute no. We have block parties every year from 1 to 8, from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. That is something that we should do. If you don't like noise, I think everybody should do their research. Washington Heights, AKA Sugar Hill, Upper Harlem, Inwood, Dykeman, however you identify it as. Our culture is not quiet. We're not quiet people. We like to come outside in the summertime. We like to play a little music in the summertime. If you don't like it, don't move into our community. Point blank, period. The only thing I agree with is that we should have some discretion and some consideration for our neighbors after hours, after 8 o'clock, after 9 o'clock. Okay, I can understand that. But all of this other stuff, this sounds like people who don't understand the culture of our community or don't care about the culture of our community and want to come in and change that. And we're not having it. I'm going to tell you that right now. So I was very confused why this even came before our committee, because this wasn't something that we don't have a problem with. If anything is noisy, it's the construction worker. It's the jackhammers. It's the ambulances with nobody in it running up and down the street because they can put on their sirens. This is absolute. I'm born and raised in this community. We have always, when it's nice, come outside and play some music or whatever. And we're not neighborly. If I have a problem with somebody and their music is too loud, I know everybody in my community. I'm gonna go and say, hey, can you turn your music down? It's a little bit too loud. Before we start writing resolutions and trying to erase the culture of this community, we're not gonna do it. I'm offended by some of the things in here. I'm offended that you would say that people can't have events on Saturday and Sunday. Well, go down to the boathouse. Go to Riverside. I do agree that when we have events in the plaza, that we should give ample notice to the community that this is going to be happening. So if you live, if you live there, you can find something else to do with your day until it is over. All right. But I don't agree with the limit to 4 hours. Like, you going to tell the young people that? That sounds like some senior citizen, and I'm sitting here as the grandmother. We have all kinds of earplugs. We have all kinds of technology that you can put in your ears so you don't have to be bothered by the noise. But is it really the noise, or is it the culture? Or is it the music that's being played that you don't like? Sorry, Tanya, not sorry. I don't understand how people come here from other parts of the nation, from other parts. New York City is the loudest city in the world. It's a city. This is an urban community. I think everybody needs to do their research and research how gentrification changes the culture of a community. How you hear what they say, we got noise complaints because people are playing music. Now I understand, I don't even understand calling 311 because everybody knows in our community I don't have that. But I understand calling 311 if the music is on to 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. But that's not what this resolution says. This resolution says daytime events should be limited and that they shouldn't be back to back. If you ask me, we don't have enough activities for our people in this community, enough free activities. So I don't know why Steve, the health and environment community wanted us to take this up. This is something that transportation and traffic and the health and environment did last year. It's an absolute no for me. If he was thinking that we should write a resolution, I ain't no abstain, ain't no, it's an absolute no. Because this is coming after who we are. We are loud people. I've been loud all my life and people have been telling me to be quiet. God made us different for a reason. Everybody is not here to be quiet. And we are not responsible for landlords not soundproofing their buildings. Go take it up with your landlord. Take it up with the people who own your building and say, hey, y'all made these real shabby. And we can hear everything, whether it's a car honking or somebody playing the radio. You're going to hear it. Are you going to go outside and tell the cars that they can't honk? So I think it's really targeting our culture and who we are, whether we're Dominican, whether we're Black, whether we're Puerto Rican. And I'm going to tell you on behalf of all my family, we're not having it. I rest.
All right. I want to add real quick, to this, I do want to give like recognition to 34th precinct, like some flowers to the precinct. Y'all got a lot of tough cases, but I feel like the way that the precinct, 34th precinct has managed the plaza from my experience, right? It's been pretty fair, they have it pretty much under control with what they have available to them, because we are all limited on resources in this district. That's for starters. And from my observation, I think there should be a different resolution that's not just focused on noise. I think it's the initial purposes of these plazas. What are we using these plazas for aside from concerts? And if there is going to be a concert, who is organizing the concert, and what does that look like for community members to enjoy it with that it's free, right? Because these artists that come, they have to get paid. Who is paying them, right? Regardless of who is paying them, who can then enjoy it? And what does that look like for our district?
It should be free for everybody.
It should be free. I should not have to, you
Buy
know,
something.
buy a bottle at this establishment simply because I want to enjoy an event that was publicized as free directly from Quisqueya Plaza's social media or whatever the case may be. So yeah, that was just my other 2 cents. There's some things that I agree, right? Like the bulletin and visible signage. That is like, come on, we want to know exactly what's happening so that folks can participate or plan accordingly, right? If you know that this event is taking place during this time, you go somewhere else. I don't know. I don't really know what that works, but you know, like alternate side parking, no parking on this day. The communication could be better with the community, but that's my 2 cents. Thank you, 34.
And the resolve, right? Monitor, so for that, for me, I hear surveillance, right? Reoccurring noise complaints, and then take appropriate action against repeat offenders. You wanna throw people in jail for playing their radio loud, right? The other one, enforce the time limits and sound restrictions at all events at public plaza, including ensuring permitted, like Jamila said. They're pretty good about that. But this is also like a form of sicking the police on us, right? And then the only thing that I agree with in the resolves is that Manhattan urging the city of New York to explore instituting noise mitigation and sensitive programs for older residential buildings affected. Now we could just put the whole resolution on that and put it on, you know, the landlords, the building owners, and the cities to make sure we all have soundproof apartments. We would love that. But it should not be on the people, you know, to not have fun during the summer. You know, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Like, we're not doing it. And again, silence is gentrification. We've been loud. We like loud music. We like drums. We like hip hop. We like R&B, and we're not going to stop liking what we like because you don't like it or because you feel like you can't go to sleep. And again, there are wonderful ear thingies that you can get so you don't hear nothing. But to criminalize the community and to limit the community when there is not enough resources in the community, where there is not enough free things for people to go to, when a lot of time when things happen at the plaza or whatever, it's the community that's organizing it and paying for it however they can. They gotta fix that. But if you don't have the resources, you come out, you do what you can yourself, and that should be uplifted and supported. We, you know, instead of, you know, this reads to me criminalization. This reads to me, oh, be quiet because I don't like it. We should have thought about that before you moved in a district with a culture. And this is happening in Harlem. This is happening in Brooklyn. Besides stealing black and brown people's homes through deed theft, they are also pushing us out because people are tired of you calling the police on me because I got Mariah Carey on and you don't like it.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Tanisha. I'm wondering if anyone who hasn't spoken would like to comment on this.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
What is health and why did they send this to us and what did they ask me for?
So I got an email from Steve basically saying that it was suggested that our committee take this up. I actually don't know what that means. I assumed it meant that we should maybe vote on it. However, apparently Traffic and Transportation has voted on it, so I think it's my guess is that it was passed to us because it's calling on the police department to do things, and so that is the public safety piece of it.
I see. Okay.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
you want the traffic and transportation.
No, I wanted to ask the youth if they wanted to say.
Hey, y'all got anything y'all want to say? Come say something.
I wanted to ask if they had comments.
Come say something.
You don't have to, but I saw people nodding. I saw people nodding and.
One more. We would love your opinion.
Yeah,
on
sorry. I saw that they were leaving, but my next thing was gonna ask if they had
about noise pollution.
This is your board.
Our community is known for loudness. So I feel like complaining about the music during the daytime is crazy, actually. That's crazy. Cause you can go to 125th and there'll be music playing everywhere. in stores, out of stores, doesn't matter. So I feel like.
Go to 181st.
Exactly, there's music playing right now. Sure there is. But complaining about the music is pretty crazy. And it's not, in my opinion, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Because I understand if it was an actual crime. But I feel like it's just targeting a group of people who are celebrating their culture. I don't like that.
Thank you, beautiful.
It's pretty weird.
What you got to say? I know you got it.
I agree with your opinion. I especially love New York during the
Love your
summer.
accent.
I especially love New York during the summer because I love seeing people sharing in the street and also listen to music, and I love that. Something that can I say is I'm gonna say in Spanish and she gonna explain that. Okay, yo trabajé con el programa de la plaza durante el verano pasado en la escuela 528 y cuando yo salía con algunos niños porque salíamos casi en la misma hora y yo me daba cuenta de que en la 182 y San Nicolás se le ofrecían droga.
So
O
far.
sea,
So she worked at 181st, 182nd at that plaza area where, is it 513? 528, that's located right there. And what she experienced through her work in the summertime is that people came and offered drugs to the students that were out there on the plaza. And she felt like that never got addressed. Nobody said anything, they didn't.
But we're talking about noise.
Right, like that's a, right.
sí, entonces tampoco a la hora de salida nunca había algún policía, nunca había presencia de ninguna persona que dijera que esto no se debe hacer. Entonces me gustaría que por lo menos durante el verano, durante las horas que los niños salgan, que alguien esté ahí para poder ver que no pase nada, porque son niños, se dejan influenciar.
So she's requesting that somebody does something because she noticed that nobody did anything and nobody was there to like help the students try to figure out, there was like no police presence, so she's wondering like, what's gonna happen?
Right, we also need to identify community members that can come to the police, can, kind of like, I don't wanna say surveil, but kind of watch out over the youth population, and if we see that, we can be like, what, don't, we gotta stop playing with us, because in real time, so I think that's a bigger concern than the noise, Chair.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's okay. No, I was upset that they.
Yeah, I wanted to hear what they.
Okay, so yeah, basically on the substance, I pretty much agree with everything that's being said. The advance notice of permitted events, that's great. Can't believe that's not the law already. That should be the law. The back-to-back is kind of a crazy thing to add. The bulletin boards and visible signage, like we're in favor of that. The invocation of the NYPD and the kind of extension of the Rezo past trying to enforce the rules at Quisqueya I'm not in favor of. So I don't, and at Quisqueya, as far as I'm aware, there's no issue where the police need to get involved. And if there was, that is still a priority that I would ask the police to not elevate above other public safety concerns that we have. So I think, if my feedback would be if they would like to pass a reso specifically targeting this situation at Quisqueya, where we know that residents there have been have reported lots of issues related to this activity. It also seems not very equitable. There's businesses using public land for private purposes. That doesn't seem fair to me. If they want to provide a reso specifically about that, I would be much more in favor of looking at that and those specific rules instead of trying to attach it to a general noise kind of vibe that I think we all kind of disagree with based on culture.
Yeah. Okay. Cognizant of time. I think there's two ways to proceed. One is to basically rework this reso along the things that this committee specifically has consensus around, which it sounds like an end time, advance notice posting, or we can just vote on this as it is, the chips fall where they may. And then it goes, since it looks like it passed in TNT, then it will go to the general anyway. but I don't know how, I actually don't really know how it works in terms of us amending this reso if it passed, and I'm like, I don't really know.
Isn't this a reso that passed in 2025 or May? Or that we had in May?
It's been edited somewhat, apparently. Although Noemi did mention that in TNT, apparently they discussed the end time being 9 PM instead of, I think it says 8 right now. So I don't know. But again, we could either basically like, I don't think these amendments would be friendly is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
They would be like, I think specific to this committee discussion. So we can either maybe do a new reso, which I don't know, like, I need Jim Berlin.
And that's what
We can just vote on this as it is. And then,
I'm gonna see why it's before us.
yeah, and at the general meeting, when, Jamirna will give the presentation on this reso, because I can't.
Okay.
Or I guess I shouldn't, we can discuss the
Yeah.
issues that we had with it and why it didn't pass here.
Yeah, and I wanna add too, I feel like
Why do we have to pass it?
this
No,
resolution.
well, we don't, but you know what I mean.
This
like, that's-
resolution is very specific, and I think there needs to be a whole separate resolution on just Quisqueya Plaza as itself. Because targeting is very specific and is very intentional because it's geared towards Quisqueya Plaza, and Quisqueya Plaza does not represent the entire district, and Quisqueya Plaza seems to be doing events that are very exclusive to what Quisqueya Plaza's committee is intending to do and whatever their mission is. We don't know who this committee is. I have personally never met these folks. However, I feel like it's very business orientated, and that's where traffic and transportation, health and environment, that's who they need to address and make it a resolution that's specific to this specific committee. What exactly their intentions are and what exactly is their mission, because while we're not talking about the other plazas in the district, why any other plazas is giving up hardships with the noise? Is Quisqueya Plaza the issue, and who is managing Quisqueya Plaza? So now I think that's who traffic and transportation is
People
the
say
focus.
that this plaza over here is loud, and I'm like, you're lying.
So this is a point of this is a point of
It's
information.
creating a bias
Yeah.
because and the name too, Quisqueya Plaza is like kind of giving exclusivity to just the Dominican community. So how did that name come about? Because I get it, the initiative's trying to change the name of the neighborhood and make it like a Dominican identity. But who is behind the plaza? Who is managing this plaza, and what is their mission for real? Their goal in this neighborhood?
Or maybe we should suggest that they come before small businesses, or maybe we could have them suggest that they come before us. to answer
So
some of
this
our
is a point of information, the plazas, each plaza is run by an individual public partner, which I think is what you're alluding to. That's like just, I don't know if it's.
Plaza's partner, do we know?
I don't know, it might be on the DOT website somewhere, but I don't know, for example, what is the partner
Well, we can
that
find
works
out.
with.
Kiana can find it out first.
Yes, but I think that's sort of what you're alluding to, that each one is its own different thing.
Yeah, Quisqueya
I'm
Plaza
going
is
to
very specific.
ask if there's a motion at this time.
I motion
Okay.
to close, right?
Ready to go home.
Almost,
Nobody
if-
wants to vote on, so there's no motion.
So there's no motion to vote on this
No,
resolution.
no, no.
Yeah.
You can table it or something.
If you're even allowed to, right? You know, you have Jim Berlin.
Wait a little round.
Have our chair clarify.
Sorry, Jim, because I'm here to clarify, but there was no motion to vote on this agenda, it sounds like.
Yeah, and I'm in favor of communication within the board, and I'm in favor of more resos. So I think that hopefully by watching the recording, Health and Environment can see the feedback that this group has had of those of us who have spoken, and take that for what it is. And when we are voting as members in the general board, we're gonna vote according to the feedback that we're giving. So it's up to you all what you want to do. So
Okay, so.
Waste of time.
Please expect the email so we can clarify what y'all want me to present to.
Yeah, okay, we'll discuss offline.
Okay.
Okay, so
you
as
want
I
to
mentioned,
Suppose
as I mentioned.
suppose you tell them that we tabled this, we were not able to agree to move forward, that we pass it back to them perhaps to maybe restructure the reso, or we kick it back to the general to see what this.
Yeah, oh, I take it and.
It's bigger
we
than
can
noise.
Discuss it at executive.
Okay,
committee too.
all right,
Take it to
okay.
executive.
We're,
Exactly.
okay,
That's a-
there has not been a motion.
Yep.
And so we're moving on. I'm going to table the discussion on the Office of Community Safety till June in the interest of time. Is there any old business? No. Is there any new business? No. Are there any announcements? No. Do I have a motion?
I have an announcement.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I want to say, wonderful first meeting and welcome our new chair, which we are really happy to have. Thank you.
I have just a quick business thing.
Yeah.
So
Old
looking
business
into the
deal, sorry.
new business.
Okay.
I'm looking into the car wash situation. So specifically by my building, there's a bunch of car wash van type
Okay.
of scenarios. There's basically regularly huge amounts of dirty water that are like lining the sidewalk. I've spoken to Carmen De La Rosa about this. She gave me some good information. It looks like essentially if we were to try to interact with anybody regarding that issue, I don't know if there's will or interest in this group, but we were to, that would be like a sanitation thing, like
Mhm.
DSNY. So I was just wondering if we have any view or I don't know, strategy for how we've interacted with them in the past, or is that even us?
They do come to the district service cabinet, so let's connect and loop in Kiana.
Okay.
Because I do think that sanitation is a public safety concern.
Right.
So I think we should maybe see if there's a rep who can come and maybe we
Okay.
can kind of talk about it.
Okay,
It
so
might
I'll
not be
communicate.
June, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll communicate with Kiana and then maybe see if somebody can come in and talk to us about what the rules are today, what's supposed to be happening and what's happening right now.
All right. Is there a motion?
All right, I'm with Sean.
Carl move.
Carl's been ready.
All right, good night. Thank you, Sonia. Feel better.
Thank you, Chair.